The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Your channel.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Armed Radio and welcome to Sports Insider. I am your host, Glenn Spillman, coming to you live from the West Coast. Normally, it is the sunny West Coast. Maybe in Southern California, it's not even sunny right now. But funny thing is, the station's in Boston. Boston's getting a lot of snow right now, but California, ironically, I read a story on the LA Times this morning that California is getting more snow than Boston, and as low as 500 feet that we're getting snow here. I actually was going up to Tahoe last week and got stuck, almost got stuck in a blizzard. And I was just minutes away. I was at a place called Strawberry Lodge, and I was just getting ready to eat breakfast. And they're like, "Hey, man, if you don't want to get stuck here, you might want to go." And it started snowing pretty hard, and I of course, in a Honda Civic, and it was spinning in the snow and whatnot, so I barely got out of that one. But anyway, if you guys want to call into the show, the number is 800-508-5431. Again, that number is 800-508-5431. Give me a call. Give me your question about sports, and I will answer it for you. I like to give you guys nuggets and tidbits and little things here and there throughout every show. And there's actually been a lot of shenanigans going on in all sports. But before I get to that, let me give you a little bit of rundown on what's going on Armed Radio. If you want to check out the full lineup, go to armedradioglobal.com and you go on the home bar, hit artists, and you can see all of their shows. Tuesdays, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. All of this is Eastern Time that I'm saying. You got Amy Chafalo. You've got Night Talk with Joe Rocks, Thursday, 10 p.m. What's the Story with Maria, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. They've got All You Could Eat. They've got Ask for Candy with Candace Harper. They've got shows for everybody and everyone's taste. The show right before mine, Pot Talk, I was actually listening to the show tonight. Well, I listen to the show every Friday. But it's politically offensive talk. You guys got to go check that out. It is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday nights. And one last time, the number 1-800-508-5431. All right, now let's get into some shenanigans around the sports nation, around the sports world. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown was found guilty of reckless driving after failing to show up for his court proceedings Tuesday, according to the county's magistrate office. Now, he was cited on November 8th. He allegedly, you know what? I know they got to use that word sometimes in the media, but allegedly, if you catch a guy driving a black Porsche and he's driving more than 100 miles an hour, there is no allegedly. He either did or he didn't. But anyway, they cited him for going more than 100 miles an hour through the Ross Township in Pennsylvania. The officers at the time was actually looking for a suspect from a bank robbery when they located Brown. He had a fine that he had to pay of a measly $426.77. Got 30 days to appeal that. But anyway, I mean, if you're a normal dude out there driving a Porsche or any other car for that matter, and you're going over 100 miles an hour, you're going to jail, brother. And I tell you what, you're going to be paying more than $426.77 for a fine. All right, so Duke, the woman at the center of Duke's investigation into an alleged 1999 sexual assault. Now, we're in 2019. This happened in 1999. I've always said this. Why do they bring stuff up 10, 12, 20, 30, 40 years later? And I hear stories, well, we were afraid to come out. We didn't want the backlash, this, that, and the other thing. But anyway, if it happens, report it at the time. I mean, I know it's a scary situation. I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything, but this is 1999 alleged sexual assault, and that's according to a report by the New York Times. Now, the lawyer for Meredith Watson said in a statement Friday that Watson had been raped by former Duke basketball player, but did not identify the player. Now, I'm always one that wants answers to questions. If you're going to say a Duke player raped me, you might as well go all the way and name the player. I mean, why are they not naming the player? So, now this person in question went on to play 14 years in the NBA after attending Duke for 1 year. So he was a one and done kind of cat. I don't really like one and dones. I don't appreciate one and dones. But anyway, that's a sidetrack from the story. But this person who allegedly was raped in 1999 went on and played 14 years in the NBA. And the person and the player in question that was finally named was, now, it's Magette. It looks like Maggot, Meggettete. But anyway, of course, he denied the allegations in a statement to the Times, and I quote, "It has only been through media accounts and the statement from Meredith Watson's lawyer that I first learned or heard of anything about these sexual assault allegations." End quote. And in another quote, he says, and I quote, "I have never sexually assaulted anyone in my life, and I completely and categorically deny such a charge." End quote. Well, if you did it, I don't think years later that you're going to stand up and be like, yeah, I did that back in 1999. My bad. And every time that someone denies something, they always say, completely and unequivocally or completely and categorically deny any such charge. So stay tuned for some future information on that shenanigan. Now let's go over to the Professional Fighters League. Now the PFL has suspended Josh Copeland on Monday after a report surfaced that the heavyweight, a finalist in the promotion's recent $1 million tournament, was arrested earlier this month in connection with an alleged domestic violence incident at his Colorado home. Well, domestic violence, it's going to get you every single time, man. But now notice that on that report, there was no alleged on anything like that. It just says was arrested earlier. There was no alleged. He's 36 years old. He faces charges of second-degree assault, obstruction of telephone service, and criminally negligent child abuse after, here's the word, allegedly punching his wife during a February 2nd altercation in front of their son. Well, here's the quote from the PFL. "The PFL has zero tolerance for matters involving domestic violence." End quote. Per our company's policy following his arrest, Josh Copeland has been suspended indefinitely. Again, end quote on that. Well, this guy is going to have CPS up his butt. He's going to have all these things going on. He's probably going to have to do domestic violence classes, anger management classes, and all this kind of stuff in accordance with that, allegedly. Anyway, now, I am not, again, downplaying the domestic violence or anything, but it is just, it's running rampant in sports, whether it's football, Ray Rice, whether it's basketball, hockey, boxing, MMA, whatever. It is. It just seems that every single week that you get somebody being arrested for domestic violence. When are these? It's not always guys that are getting arrested. It is girls as well getting arrested for domestic violence, or both of them. I mean, you guys getting in that drag down fight, you're both going to jail. You do this in front of your kids. That's just stupid, man. Don't be doing anything like that in front of your kids. Now, on to the MMA. Khabib sits out until November, if he does. The Nevada State Athletic Commission, they suspended 2 of his teammates for a year last month. Now, Khabib got suspended for 6 months. Now, he will return minus the UFC Lightweight Championship title, despite never having lost inside the octagon. Now, here's a quote. Guys can't sit out and wait that long when you have a title. Now, you can't do it. So if that's true and he's going to do that, we'll have to figure something else out and start looking at whether it's Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, or one of these other guys, end quote. Now, for those of you who may not know the story, Khabib and got in an altercation after his fight with McGregor. He went after a couple of McGregor's guys, jumped over the octagon, went ape shit in the freaking audience. Cops had to pull him off, and he had to be taken to the back. And for that, he was suspended 6 months. So if he does not fight in that 6 months, he is going to be stripped of his title. And on top of that, he was fined $100,000, and it was 9 months, not 6 months, that he was suspended. Now, that's retroactive to October, so that's where I'm getting the 6 months from now. So it's retroactive to October. And it is, when you think of Nevada, think of drugs, prostitution, gambling, and all that kind of stuff. You don't think of this kind of crap. Last story of the shenanigans. Milwaukee Bucks co-owner Mark Larcy has been fined $25,000, chump change to that guy, for his comments regarding Pelican star Anthony Davis. So he said some stuff about Anthony Davis, got fined 25 G's. Davis requested to be traded from the Pelicans. He listed Milwaukee, actually, as one of his preferred landing spots, which I don't know why. It's the Milwaukee Bucks or the Milwaukee Sucks. And I'm not saying they suck. They're doing pretty good right now, but why would you want to be traded to Milwaukee unless you're just going to be the big kahuna of the entire freaking team, which I would rather go to a team like the Lakers and, play with LeBron James and have a chance to win a championship than to go to Milwaukee, who probably will never, ever, ever, ever make it to an NBA Finals championship game. Don't chase the money, chase the hardware. Because if you get the hardware, the money will come. Look at Michael Jordan. When he came back, he won 6 rings with the Bulls, and then he came back, and then he played with Washington, and that's just, to me, that was an embarrassment. He was, playing for the love of the game then, but you know what, Anthony Davis, if you go anywhere, my advice to you would be go to Los Angeles and play with the Lakers. And Nebraska running back Maurice Washington has been charged in California, my state, brothers and sisters, with 2 crimes, including felony possession of child pornography, for allegedly sending a video over text message to his former girlfriend of what she says was her being sexually assaulted. Now, I have zero tolerance for anyone involved in child pornography. If this is in fact true, they need to crucify this person, and no pass go, no collect $200, just straight crucifixion. I've got zero tolerance for crap like this. All right, for those of you following the All-Star game, which I don't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't watch whether it's the baseball All-Star game, basketball All-Star game, hockey All-Star game, I don't really follow it because to me that is just glorified practice. And you see some exhibition and you might see some good shots, maybe some trick shots and whatnot, but I don't think these players take this seriously. So if you're interested, you've got World versus USA. You've got Dirk Nowitzki coaching the World, and you got Irving coaching USA. It is 9-8 World over USA in the first quarter. 7:37 left in the first, and there you have it. Who cares? I sure don't. The only thing that I'm interested in watching really during the All-Star break is the maybe the dunk contest or the three-point contest. Other than that, I could really care less about anything else that goes on during the All-Star game. Excuse me again. For those of you listening, you want to call in 1-800-508-5431. One more time. 1-800-508-5431. Now, we've got the All-Star break, and we've got some teams that need to step up into the standings. And when I say Milwaukee sucks, someone just texted me saying if Milwaukee sucks so bad, why are they 43-14 and in first place? Well, here's the thing. And I'll answer your question why they suck at 43-14, which is not a bad record, nor am I saying that because that's the best record in the league right now. And you've got Golden State at 41-16. You got Toronto Raptors at 43-16. Those are your top three teams in the entire league. When I say they suck, what I mean is when they get to the playoffs, they choke. You're not going to see them go head-to-head in the NBA Finals. It's like the Los Angeles Dodgers have been to the past two World Series. Usually, in the playoffs, the Dodgers will choke during the playoffs itself. Last year, during the World Series, they choked. You have one of the best pitchers in baseball with Clayton Kershaw, and what did they do? They choked. What did they do against Boston Red Sox? They choked. Could they have won? Absolutely. They were down to just a few outs when they were playing the Astros. Choked. So that's why I say Milwaukee Bucks sucks. You're in first place right now. Great. You got the best record in the league. Great. You know, you're 8-2 in your last 10. You're on a 2-game win streak. But you're going to choke. It is inevitable. Nobody wants to see the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. Nobody does. They want to see people like the Golden State Warriors, Oklahoma City Thunder, Boston Celtics, teams like LA Lakers, teams like that. Well, you've got 8 spots in the Western Conference. You got the Golden State Warriors, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunder, Portland Trailblazers, Houston Rockets, Utah Jazz, San Antonio Spurs, and in the 8th coveted spot, you've got the LA Clippers at 32-27. Now, you've got the local hometown Sacramento Kings at 30-27 at 9th. And in the 10th spot, you got the LA Lakers at 28-29. They're not even at 500 right now. LeBron James, the man with the plan, King James, Superman, is on the Los Angeles Lakers and is in threat of not making the playoffs this year. If that happens, is that such a bad thing? I really don't think so. I mean, LeBron James came to the Lakers knowing that they weren't that great of a team. He came to the Lakers knowing that they may not make the playoffs, but he came to the team knowing that in the offseason they're going to make some blockbuster trades that's going to make them the favorites next year for the championship finals. So Sacramento Kings, the magic number, I think, for the Sacramento Kings to get into the playoffs is 45. They're at 30-27 right now, and they need to win 15 games to, I feel, this is just my personal opinion, I feel get into the playoffs. So, they're at Golden State, they're going to lose that. Then at Oklahoma City, they're going to lose that. At Minnesota, they could win that. Milwaukee, that's a coin flip. Flip a coin on that one, they could win or lose that one. Then they got the Clippers, lose. New York, they'll win that one. Boston, that's going to be a tough game, but they could beat Boston. Then they got New York again. You go all the way down the schedule, and they're basically going to have to win every other game to make the 45 games. And it would be interesting because Sacramento has been so bad for so long. It would be interesting to see Sacramento in the playoffs. Now, will they go far? No, I don't. I personally don't think so. But, if you could make it to the playoffs, you could make it to the show. And when I say the show, I'm talking about the NBA Finals, the World Series, the Super Bowl, whatever. If you could make the playoffs, it wasn't too long ago where the Kansas City Royals and the San Francisco Giants were both, they barely made it to the wild card. They barely made it to the playoffs, and each of them went to the World Series. So, if you can make it to the playoffs, you can make it to the freaking championship. Now, for those of you that don't have anything going on this Sunday, February 17th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you've got UFC Fight Night with Ngannou and Velasquez. So I would check that out. They got 3 early prelim fights, and 2 of them are female fights. You got Alexander Albu against Emily Whitmire, and you have Jessica Panay against Jody Escobar. Those will be interesting fights, and the only male fight in there is Renan Barraro against Luke Sanders. And I say this every freaking show, and I'll say this every time that I talk about MMA. If you watch UFC Fight Night, or if you watch, a UFC pay-per-view, watch the early prelims and watch the prelims, because you're going to see some really good fights. Because these fighters are the ones who are fighting to get on the main card, so they're going to give it their 100% all. And I'm not saying that all fighters don't give 100% all, but I'm just saying, check it out Sunday, February 17th. Watch the early prelims and prelims, whether that's boxing, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever. Watch the early fights, because you'll see something there that will just blow your mind. I guarantee you. For those of you, again, 1-800-508-5431. You can call Sports Insider. We are on every single Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And again, you can go to armedradioglobal.com and hit the shows, artists, and check out their shows. There's something for everybody. And if you missed the show, go to Spreaker, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, Reaker, Spreaker.com, and type in the show that you want to listen to. If you want to listen to my show, which I hope you do, just type in Sports Insider, and bam, it'll pop up, and you can listen to it whenever you want. Go to tunein.com and listen to it in your car, in the plane, if you're traveling, wherever you're at the gym. You can listen to it on tunein.com/armed radio. And it's got the little yellow icon with the headphones. And check that out. And lastly, we only have a couple more minutes on here, folks. But lastly, they got Colin Kaepernick back in there. I really don't have time to get into it, but it seems that they're just go to ESPN.com, go to their front page, read the story. Colin Kaepernick isn't playing NFL because of what he did, in my eyes. I believe he's not playing in the NFL because he's not good enough to play in the NFL. And that is my story, and I am sticking to it. And that's all I'll say about Colin Kaepernick. But again, folks, we are on every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Write this number down so next week you can give us a call. 1-800-508-5431. Got a buddy of mine in Dallas, Texas right now that just got out of gallbladder surgery. Hope you get better soon. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.